Bell MTS's Stories from the Hill is a look back at the roots of our festival, an authentic showcase of those special moments where artists and fans connected in their own way. There's so much more meaning to Dolphins Country Fest than the party itself, stories we would like to share. It's easy to forget that this is a nonprofit organization when you see the unbelievable mark it's made on the community and the countless organizations that have benefited from it. Bell MTS's Stories from the Hill will highlight and keep some of those memories and special stories alive until the next time we can gather on the hill for Dolphins Country Fest.
How are you? How you doing? How are you? I mean, you're in BC. You get to go outdoors. I'm assuming taking advantage of your surroundings now and getting outside a bunch.
Yeah. My spot is like right backs onto a mountain, so it's perfect. Yeah, I'll go for runs with Huck, and it's nice. And we're it's a little bit more lenient out here for sure, right, than Ontario.
Yeah.
I actually just got my haircut yesterday, but it doesn't look as good as yours.
You did. I mean, did the stylist? Oh, there you go. Yeah. I don't
know. So short. He went so short. I said, don't do much. Don't do much. And it's like, I don't think hair people know. They just do it. It's like telling somebody who's hungry not to eat. They just have to cut hair.
I think you're probably right. There's probably something in their psyche somewhere that thinks that you have to leave the place looking dramatically different. Like, if I don't cut enough, I'm going to feel like this guy didn't get his money's worth.
Yeah, I know. And if I don't bring out those thinning, it's like, don't bring out the thinning shears, man. Like, just don't. I don't need to thin my hair.
But they always have to bring it out.
It's thick, right?
It's so thick, man. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So that I always end up like, that's why my hair's pretty easy to cut myself. I just get the clippers, right? At the beginning of the lockdown, I ordered some clippers, and my son Max, who's 11, has exactly the same hair that I do. So we both have identical haircuts right now. You met Max back in the day. Yeah. When he was about 2 years old. When we were where were we? Jamaica or something?
It was Jamaica, Ocho Rio.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was some resort. It was the CMP thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, just use the clippers all over here. And then honestly, it's a bit of a crapshoot. Just zit in there to kind of get rid of a little bit of it, and super easy. My 8-year-old son, Jack, has beautiful blonde hair, and his is like, you can't use the clippers. I had to watch a YouTube tutorial, and you got to wet the hair and put it through, and then the comb and the scissors and stuff. And that's a different deal, man. That's,
yeah.
I've done it a couple of times. It's got daddy's barbershop going.
It looks great, man. As soon as your face came up, I was like, Paul's got a sporty new hairdo. Can't believe you did it.
Well, yeah, it doesn't look as bad as it went for a while. I went for a bunch of weeks at the beginning without a haircut at all, and that's when I went on Amazon, and all the clippers were sold out, and
yeah,
it took a while to get them because people were losing their minds. But so did the guy that cut your hair, did he still have a mask on?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And did you?
Yeah, and I've got a mask on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so people are still being responsible. It's just more things have opened up.
Yeah, well, nothing's really shut down, really. Like, everything's, especially in the Okanagan where I'm at right now, like there's just a tiny amount of cases. Like, I think on the west, like right in Vancouver, it's a lot more, but here it's sparse. Yeah.
You go to a restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is it kind of like half capacity? Is it one of those things?
Yeah, it is like that. Yeah, you'd have to make a reservation, and you walk in with your mask, and then of course you can take it off when you get to the table.
I know, it's a little strange, right?
Yeah. I
must admit, and I obviously the businesses all need to survive, and I feel bad even saying this, but masks are unappetizing to me. I've did it a couple times at the beginning in the summer here when you could still eat on patios apart. I would get there, and the waiter comes up and they've got a mask on, and you're just reminded that there's like, how are you doing? I know we've talked a couple times for radio over the last 10 months or so, and there's been some music and all that stuff, but are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm writing again, and I think it's a great time to write right now. And but yeah, doing lots of writing, and just going day by day, man, hoping to get my inoculation quick and just get back at it.
I talked to a lot of artists and songwriters over the last period of time. And some of them are like, yeah, like you using this time, just taking advantage of the fact that I'm not on the road. I don't have anything on my schedule or as much as I would normally have on my schedule. And I'm just going to write. I sit down and write. I'm going to get better at playing the guitar. I'm going to take vocal lessons. I'm going to do all this stuff. I was talking to Core Blend, and he said he was taking vocal lessons. That's one of the things that he was doing and stuff. I'm like, that's awesome. So some people really kind of using that time. Conversely, I've talked to artists who are having a hard time finding inspiration right now because so much of it comes from interaction and actually moving around the planet and being inspired by things, and also like a bit of a lack of motivation, a bit of apathy.
Absolutely. That's the one thing I think I've had to struggle with. Like I thought, oh, COVID, especially last year when it first happened, I just shut down. I was creatively just, I think that's what you point to. Like, I think the interaction with people, and I don't know, there's some kind of energy that we get from each other that's really important for creativity. Because when you're just stuck in the house, and I don't know, it's not life. I mean, it's life, but it's not how we're supposed to or meant to live. We're meant to interact with each other and travel, and especially as musicians, like to work off each other and let's see what that person's doing. And there's just an energy in the room when musicians are around each other. And so we're all isolated from each other, and it is harder. Man, I didn't write anything last year. I wrote 2 songs last year.
The whole calendar year, 2 songs. Yeah.
I drank so much beer that I just lost motivation. I really did. Yeah. Because it's like, well, we just finished an album. I don't know. Yeah, that motivation's just coming back now. I'm starting to write and having some fun doing it.
You were talking about writing and getting back on the writing thing again. Are you still doing most of your writing by yourself?
Yeah, I've always done it all by myself. Like I'm just a really slow cog in the wheel when I write with other people. Actually, Stu, just before we got on here, I was talking to Stu, Reclaw, and we're setting up to write together. But yeah, I don't know. I always have the worst ideas, and then I write late at night. That's usually when I get inspiration, or early in the morning. Or honestly, I'll just pick up the ukulele and write for 10 minutes and I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm just not that guy that sits down. I've got friends that sit down and they write 2 songs a day, and they're just so passionate. And I get, my creativity just dries up if I force myself too much. So
I get it. I totally understand that. It always did. I must admit, it was really eye-opening for me when I first joined CMT and started going down to Nashville quite a bit, and discovering, like, going into one of the labels or the publishing companies or something, and seeing the area for the writers' rooms, and seeing people coming and going, almost like there were like business meetings taking place. You know, exactly. 9:30. I got one at 9:30. I got one at 11:30, and I got one more in the afternoon at 2:30. And I was like, what? I didn't realize you could do things like that. I mean, I get it once you maybe have some songs written and then you're going to go into the studio and you got studio time booked, but like actually going in, and then I think you get kind of addicted to it. I think a lot of writers get addicted to it because they're worried that if they pass on a write or they don't show up that day, that'll be the day that the game-changing song was in the air and they weren't there to grab it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think there is that anxiety for some of those guys. Yeah. And for me too, but yeah, for whatever reason, I dried up so fast when I was forcing creativity with strangers, essentially. Like and for me, music's like super personal, especially like you're writing a love song, and it's weird writing a love song with 2 other dudes in the room. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. Come on.
You can't believe you are. I have been thinking that for 15 years. I've been thinking that, Dean. I can't believe you're the first person to ever say that.
It's so true. It's uncomfortable. You're sitting there like, I want to kiss your skin, your breath on my neck. And you're like, this is gross.
Oh my God, that makes so much sense to me. Oh, I was always like, what? This song about your wife and how you love the curves of her this and you want to caress the what? This was written by 4 dudes?
Yeah. Oh, I feel bad for like Dan and Shay. It's like you got these 2 dudes and they're singing about love together, about women, or they're I don't know. I know it's a personal thing.
You think Dan ever looks over to Shay and says, "Are you thinking about my wife right now?"
I don't know. Oh man.
Yeah, that is true. And considering that like 90% of the songs in our genre are about love.
Yeah, and it's they're sexy songs. It's kind of hot, and some of these songs they've got like 3 dudes on them, and they've written this beautiful love song, which is so interesting to me because as guys, we even by ourselves we have trouble like I have feelings for you, and for some of us guys that's kind of hard to even say, right?
Yeah.
Or to even talk about it with any of your friends. Like you're not going to talk about that, but then you get together with 2 other strange dudes in a room in Nashville and like, let's write a hot love song for Keith Urban, and
yeah. And then they pitch it to Keith and he's like, were you thinking about Nicole when you wrote this?
Yeah. They were. They absolutely were. They were like, what would Keith say to Nicole? And then the 3 dudes, right? I don't know. It's a personal thing.
When you're talking to people in the industry and stuff, because I know when I was talking to Dallas in the early days of this thing, and we'll move on from COVID in a little bit, but it is still front of mind. He brought up some good points about he was going to be able to weather the storm, but there were people like guitar techs and road crews and stuff like that had dedicated their lives to it and that were trustworthy and knew the shorthands and knew the best ways to get from one province to the next and the best hotels and all of that stuff, like tour managers and things like that.
Yeah.
Some peripheral people in the industry, not that they're peripheral, but how they were looking for other careers and stuff like that. What's the temperature in the industry like right now from your point of view?
Yeah, it's bad, man. It's really bad, especially like you say, crew.
Yeah.
And stuff like Dallas and I will be okay. Like we've, hopefully saved enough to get to when we're going to tour again.
Yeah.
And I write a lot of my own songs, so I'm kind of okay that way because radio is still alive and well and people still get to listen to music. But as far as crew guys, like they live when they're not on tour with us, a week later, sometimes a day later, they're on the next tour. That's how they make their living all year, and they don't make the money we do. They just don't. And so they've got to hustle and they got to work hard. Man, they're the hardest workers out there because bus rolls in, whatever it's 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever, 6, they're up and they're setting the stage up. I don't know if you've ever seen a time lapse, but that stage, a massive stage goes up, and then at the end of the day, it comes down. And so they're the first ones up, setting it up, and they're the last ones out, taking it, putting it back on the trucks, right? So they might get some nights 6 hours, 4 or 5 hours sleep, and then they hustle like this all year. And right now it's like nothing, right? So I think a lot of them are getting by on CERB or savings if they have any left, looking for other jobs, like you say. Some are getting other jobs, and it's rough. It's really rough on them.
Are you optimistic about playing a show in 2021? I know that the folks at Dolphins Country Fest, as I mentioned, they're prepared for it not to happen, but ready to pull the trigger if it does. But I mean, they're realistic about things, and first and foremost, it's people's safety. But are you relatively optimistic about being on stage at some point in front of a live audience this year?
I do think so, Paul. Yeah. Summer, I don't know. Like I thought we'd be going a faster pace for vaccination, but I think once the machine is going and everybody's, those inoculations are getting out there, we're going to be fine. But man, the start of 2021, it's taken a while to get it going. So, but I do think we're going to get going, and hopefully by summer, if not summer, fall. I can't imagine not playing a show this year. I mean, I'm almost certain we're going to be doing that.
Is your family safe? Is everybody good in your crew and your gang?
Yeah, everybody's good.
Nobody's had it?
No one's had it. There was some family members who got tested, but it was just a cold. I mean, if you get a cold right now, it's scary, right? You're like, oh man, what if I have this? And like, hey, man, if you sneeze in a grocery store, we've all been there where you're like in a store and because you can't sneeze, you got to, of course. And so you're like, oh man, if I do this, everybody's going to look at me. And sure enough, you're like, and you're, whatever, you got your mask on and everything, but you can see people just like,
people look at you like you cursed in church.
Yeah. They do.
They do, man.
Oh, I've stuffed a couple down, man, where I was going to cough. I was like, oh, just, eyes watering.
We don't leave the house much. My kids sneeze in the house. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
where'd that come from?
Where'd you get that sneeze from? Where'd that sneeze come from? You've been in this house as long as I have. It's crazy. Dolphins Country Fest, the actual venue itself. How many times do you think you played the festival? I actually don't know the specific number, so I'm not testing you. How many times do you think you played?
I don't know either. I think 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And the first time you went and played, do you remember it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the worst sound guy experience ever. It was the worst. We got out there. It was a plug and play. Basically, you run up there, and the next first act gets off because we're the up and comers, right? So we don't get a sound check.
So
Forget
you're on
that.
during the day.
Yeah, on during the day. Nobody cares. Everyone's still got a hangover or whatever. So you're on early in the day. But anyway, got out there and we had this, just put this crew together. I've since gotten these amazing guys, but this one guy, he disappeared halfway through our show because there were so many problems going on. Like, we all have in-ear monitors, right? And so if those aren't working, you can't hear anything because all the sound is out front of you. It's not behind you.
Yeah.
Like the crowd hears it, but we don't. And so you're just like, I know if I can't hear myself, I sound like an albatross dying on the beach. Like, I sound horrible. I'm out of tune. And so this was going on the whole show. And so you're playing a song and you're trying to be like, oh yeah, Canadian girl. And meanwhile, you're just like, it's a shit show in your ears. And the bass player's got the mix of the drummer and the drummer's got the mix of the guitar player. And finally we looked over and the guy was gone. He just left. The side stage monitor guy that makes our sound what it should be.
Yeah.
He just took off. He took off, and then some other guy from another band, I don't know if it was Dallas's Smith band or whatever, some guy come and tried to help us out, but it was a total nightmare.
Man, the guy's not just, he's like, this isn't working. I'm peacing out. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so it's in the years since your first experience during the day with the bad sound guy, you've obviously played to a full house in the amphitheater there, and at night with a full crowd and everything. It's a pretty unique experience there with that unique stage, isn't it?
It's awesome, man. I think the last show we played was just before Carrie Underwood. And probably, I think it was a Sunday night. It was amazing. Yeah, we love Dolphin. Yeah, it's just really a great time. Actually, I remember one year, I think this was the first year as well, we pulled up in the tour bus. And of course, this is a couple days in. I think it was a Sunday show we were playing. We pull up in the tour bus, and there's this line of people trying to get in the grounds. And they are so fried from, drinking and not sleeping and whatever else they're doing. There's this line of people and the bus pulls up. Like, a bus makes a lot of noise. It's a diesel engine. Pulls up. And there was this guy just kind of standing there. And the bus driver had to like run the bus into him to get him to kind of move. It was like, boo. And the guy's like, oh, boo. And finally the guy moves out of the way. It was awesome. I remember seeing guys shotgunning and it's just a party, right? I mean, there's everything there. There's like young kids having a party, and there's also like people, like families and that are camped in a different spot.
Yeah.
I love it, man. It's a national treasure, honestly. Dolphin Country Fest. Yeah.
Okay, now that guy's that, I have a feeling the guy you nudged is probably still that guy. Those guys don't change. Those guys are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Nudged by a bus.
Yeah. He's 4 beer in already today.
4 beer in. Are you doing that show? Are you doing that live kind of internet show in Toronto soon?
Yeah, it's been postponed twice now because of COVID, but yeah. So I think right now it's February 26th at the Danforth.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an album release party that's keeps getting pushed out.
Oh, okay. For boys, of course.
Yeah.
We are playing that song on the radio a lot right now. It seems to be, it's a great time for that song on a lot of levels. And Mickey Guyton, her voice is just it's a weapon, man. She knows how to control that voice. It is great.
Yeah, she weaponized her voice for sure.
She did, man. And your voices together are so nice. I mean, there's some times when things just work. And, if a guy's got a great voice and a girl's got a great voice, you put them together and it's great. But then there's things that happen that are kind of special. The subject matter of the song, the treatment of it, and the fact that you were able to make this song happen during a rather unorthodox time of production and stuff. It's a pretty amazing achievement, man.
Yeah, the whole record was kind of a challenge to do. We couldn't go to Nashville, so I was doing the record at Stu's house. Stu lives with 5 other guys in this frat house in Toronto.
Right, Stu Walker, Stu Recklaw.
Yeah. Stu and Jenna Recklaw. But yeah, they got 5 guys there, and that's where we recorded the vocals for that. But yeah, Mickey kills it. She totally kills it. And it's interesting because I'm singing that song like really soft.
Yeah.
And then she's just like belting in the background, just like, wow, that's amazing. And of course, she's not scared of that kind of subject matter, right? Like
Yeah.
a little bit, not heavy stuff, but just stuff with some bones to it, some meat. And I heard a song that she did, a song called "What Are You Gonna Tell Her?" And it's actually about raising a little girl, right? And so this is about a boy. She was going to have a boy. She recently had him.
Yeah.
I think a couple of days ago, actually.
Grayson is his name.
Grayson, that's right. I was trying to think of his name, Grayson. But yeah, she just loved it, and just she knocked it out, man.
She posted about it on Instagram. I saw her. She was bragging on you.
Yeah, she's been busy on Instagram lately with she's got nominated for a Grammy, and yeah.
I mean, she's also vocal in the unrest, in the racial unrest that's going on in everywhere, really, but in the unfortunate situation in the U.S. right now, and with some artists and whatever. But she is a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure. So what an amazing opportunity for you to be able to partner up with her. I hope it happens again on the other side. That'd be kind of cool, huh?
Yeah, I feel really fortunate to have almost nabbed Mickey before she got the Grammy nomination. Maybe she wouldn't even look my way anymore. No, she would. She's a sweetheart, but yeah. And just a good person, really good person.
And the song is, party songs are great and fun songs are great. And there, many party fun songs, I wouldn't even use the word disposable because they tend to stick around for a long time. So they're the opposite of disposable. But you look at, it's a beautiful song. It sounds amazing sonically, well produced, but the subject matter it's weighty, but meaningful. It's not like cumbersome, like you know what I mean? We talked about this, I think, when before the album came out, you kind of straddled the line very perfectly, where you were talking about something that was meaningful without being maudlin about it.
Yeah. I always feel like if you're gonna talk about something, heavy's not the word, but just something with meaning, or you're wanting to get a message across, to come at it not obtusely, but kind of come at it in an indirect way, almost.
No, that's good. All right, man. I'm not going to keep you too much longer. What's the plan for what's the immediate future look like for you? Obviously, I know the industry has to move forward. The show must go on, because as I've been saying to a lot of people talking about Country Fest in the summer and stuff, and for all the other parts of the business, the booking agencies and tour managers and labels and all of that stuff, we have to move on. Like, things are gonna, the ship's gonna right at some point, or the alternative is turn the lights off, right? We're not gonna do that. So we keep going ahead and fighting the good fight. So what does the immediate future look like for you?
Man, well, if it clears up in Ontario there, I'm going to come and do the Danforth show, the album release party there. Writing some new stuff right now. Pretty excited about that. And just kind of, hunkering down, waiting to get out there. And just more of the same, really, Paul. Just write and keep talking to you and
drink some beer,
people about music. Yeah, lots of beer.
Lots of taking your dog for a walk.
Yeah, no, Huck's, he's a sweetheart. He keeps me busy. Him and Ollie have a great relationship. I got a cat that's from like a kill shelter in Quebec, and you can tell he's just happy to be alive.
Oh my God, I hate to laugh at that.
He's a mess, man. He's got like asthma. He's got a 3rd-degree heart murmur.
Oh my God.
Broken front paw. His front paw is kind of like this. He's got a limp. He does these weird random hacks where he'll just be like, like he's
What's
a mess.
His name?
Ollie.
Oh, you're breaking my heart, Ollie.
But he's a sweetie. If you go on Insta, like I'll show pictures. Him and Huckleberry. Huckleberry's big and Ollie's a cat, and they snuggle every day, multiple times a day. Like, they'll just kind of snuggle each other. And when it's time to eat food, Huckleberry, the dog, will go and start like chomping on Ollie's neck and head with his teeth. And Ollie likes it because it's like, oh, he's getting a good rub. And then Then after dinner, they go and Huckleberry will lay down and Ollie will snuggle him and he'll sleep on his paw. He'll spoon, like they'll spoon. It's really weird.
If you don't write the children's book about a dog and a cat called Huck and Ollie, I will.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Right.
I'll write a song, you write it.
We don't have our dog yet, but my kids finally, the excuse was always, I'm at work too much. I'm out of the house too much. Your mother's out of the house too much. We live in it, we got a townhouse in downtown Toronto. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, the space of it. Now it's like Max said to me about a year ago, he's like, you work from home every day, Dad. What are you talking about? I'm like, so we have an Australian Shepherd coming, which is the one. Let's see if you can see it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. What a cutie.
So
look at those blue eyes. Hey.
Yeah. One of them is a little bluer than the other.
Yeah.
And then it's all kind of like there's a word for it that I'm blanking on right now, but it's kind of a speckle through the white. And the working name so far is, because he's an Australian Shepherd, though I believe it's an American breed, even though the term Australian is in there, is Hogan.
Oh, that's good.
You like that name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee, Australian. It's a bit.
Oh, yeah.
My kids have never seen that.
That's not a noise.
My kids have never seen that movie. They have no idea what the reference is, but it's just kind of sounds like a good dog. And no, I've never heard another dog with it. And my young son Jack wanted to call him Ace, but it's just that's a bit too cartoon doggy sounding for me. And yelling Ace across the park doesn't have the same kind of, Hogan, like that kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Hogan McGuire.
Did you hear him yelling Hogan?
Yeah, I heard him. Yeah.
Good catching up with you, buddy.
You too, Paul. Good talking to you, man.
Always fun, man.